It is the end of an era in Charlotte's food scene. Good Food on Montford, one of the restaurants that helped put Charlotte on the culinary map back in 2009, closing for good this month. Owner Bruce Moffett joining our Live Impact Studio podcast here this morning. He is stepping away from the space after nearly 20 years, but he's not really leaving the scene for good, right, Bruce?
No, I'm not leaving for good. But,
All right.
Thank you for having me in.
Yeah.
I had an employee, one of the first employees that I hired at Good Food, who was a bartender. And she used to always tell me how I could run my business better. And she was very opinionated about everything and anything. So when I got ready to open Stagione up, I said, well, if you know so much, why don't you become the manager of Stagione? And so she thought about it for a couple of weeks and then came on. So Leanne Dolcetto's been with me for 18 years. Mm-hmm. And when I told her about my lease coming up, and I was wondering what to do about that, she expressed an interest in taking over the space, and she's been with me for 18 years, and we've had a great employee relationship, and I thought what a great opportunity it would be to watch her succeed.
Fantastic. So that is why the timing is now, that this all sort of got aligned, right?
Yeah, I was looking at a 6-year lease, which would put me solidly at 68 when the lease comes up, and I just wasn't sure that I was wanting to work that hard when I was 68.
I hear that. Take us back to 2009 with this concept that really nobody in Charlotte was doing, right?
Yeah, my wife and I had gone to Chicago, and we ate at a restaurant called the Vec, which was small plates, and it was kind of a closed-in space. And she said to me, "You think something like this would work in Charlotte?" And I was like, "I don't think it would." And then flash forward about 6 months later, one of my employees came in and said that there was a place on Montford that was up for lease. And I thought, well, if the small plates thing could ever work, it would be now. And I had been working with my brother and another guy that I worked with in Boston for about 8 years, and I said, "What do you guys think? You want to go give it a whirl?" And they were up for it, so it just kind of came together.
Yeah, and now we see small plates kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
What's impressed you about how the dining scene here has changed since 2009?
Well, when we first opened, it was super confusing for customers. They couldn't understand why they couldn't get their steak and potatoes, and they couldn't grasp the idea of actually sharing food with someone. And kind of with Johnson & Wales coming, and it took a little while because the initial Johnson & Wales students had to graduate, and then they had to go off and do their thing for a while and kind of learn how to cook and learn how to run restaurants and learn how restaurants work. And then gradually they started kind of entering into the workforce at a higher level, and that's really, I think, when you saw the Charlotte food scene really start to grow and take off, and it's just kind of built on it. It's been a little stressful, a lot more competition out there, but it's also been really exciting to see how this city in general has embraced it. I mean, I think when I first started Barrington's 26 years ago, people were only interested in telling people what wine they drank, and so to see the evolution of people actually experimenting with food and trying things that takes them out of their comfort zone, so to speak, it's just been kind of very rewarding.
Yeah, Good Food picked up a James Beard nomination along the way. When you look back then at almost 20 years, any moment or recognition stand out for you, or does it even matter?
Yeah, we got nominated for Best New Restaurant in the country for a James Beard Award, and that was super exciting. And then during the Democratic National Convention, the Washington Post came in and did an article and kind of reviewed the food, and it was really rewarding because he said, I went in and I tried the different foods, and I thought, well. He said, but your Middle Eastern foods taste like Middle Eastern foods, and your Latino foods taste like Latino food. And he's like, you're very true and authentic to whatever it is you were trying to do. And that really gave me a lot of pride.
Yeah, doing the right thing by any authentic cuisine. That is quite the compliment. What is the big picture then, as it stands now, moving ahead for the Moffett Restaurant Group?
Big picture for me is I just opened Sala, my little cocktail bar with Stagioni, and I really want to focus on that, and then also focus on Stagioni and Barrington's as well, and just let Leanne do her thing. I had a restaurant that I sold over COVID called NC Red. I would love to explore that. So if I find the right place and the right opportunity, I'd love to do that again and revisit it, because I think that was very passionate for me, because it's all the North Carolina food that I learned how to cook, mixed with the Rhode Island food that I grew up with. So it was the best of fried chicken and seafood.
Oh my gosh, sounds
that
amazing.
I could figure it out, yeah.
It sounds like you're going to be busier than ever. So for longtime regulars who want one last visit, what do you tell them?
We're still taking reservations. I think we're pretty booked out, though, from now until we close. So I just have to cobble together a kitchen staff and make sure that we have enough people working to get open. That was the toughest part, was looking 25 people in the eye that have worked with me for anywhere from 6 months to 10 years, and just having to tell them that that we were going to close was caused me a couple sleepless nights.
Oh, yeah. But you made the right decision for yourself and your family.
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah. Any piece of advice that you've given Leanne?
I've given her more advice than she probably
mind.
wants to listen to. But it's, just stay true to yourself and stay true to your vision. And, there's going to be trying times, and just don't hit the panic button. And there's going to be great times, and don't get ahead of yourself.
And what is her concept?
It's called Bittersweet, which is because, cocktails in general are bittersweet. And it's kind of a bittersweet thing to go to good food. So it's a cocktail lounge. It's going to have small bites. I'm going to help her with the menu, so hopefully there'll be some nods to some of the good food classics like the steamed buns and things like that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Stagioni, Sala, maybe some other potential concepts to circle back, and Barrington's.
Yeah.
All right, so you can still find Moffett's signature, right?
Yeah.
On the Charlotte food scene.
Keep busy.
All right. Bruce Moffett, thank you for coming in, and congratulations to you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the time. Awesome. Enjoy your last few weeks.
Yeah.
There at Good Food.